Jiminy Christmas. You know what? She's 3 and already acting like 18. I had thought that they had shared the wisdom of, sharing toys and stuff, but it seems like a regression has taken place. Dude, she's gonna grow up in an age of no teeth. Jesus. And soon enough, she'll be wondering what to keep. I don't have that much time, as you can imagine, but when I do show up here, it seems like...
Oh, really? Okay, well, explained it. I've seen them up in Montana, too, Wayne. Big old mosquitoes in the wintertime. Well, I guess the cold don't hurt them then. I would have thought it would have, but, you never can tell.
I'm getting lightning strikes out of Tennessee.
Yeah, that was what was bad on 160. What was it? The lightning strike wasn't that bad on me. But the other guys, they were trying to insinuate everything. They said it was real bad. So it was getting that time of the season.
Yeah, about most of them was in Alabama, wasn't it?
Right, too.
Yeah, well, that's the reason. Tennessee just right above it.
Today, and I tell you what, I have worked so hard to get this guitar ready. I got the steel. This is 52 pounds.
The South is getting it, man. They getting the snow now. When the North always got the snow, and the South really didn't get no snow for rain. But, things are changing now. If you notice, y'all getting the snow now. Well, we're back to 80 degrees, so I think it's going to be a long time before we see any more snow. Hey, Craig, go ahead, pick it up. KI5UCO K5TV. I'm good, man. I'm sitting on the side. I don't have a free copy on him. I can barely hear you. He's down below my nose for it. Okay, yeah, he's up in Wisconsin. Maybe he's too close to you. I don't think I caught the name yet. KC9RAP. Go ahead. Yeah, right. Where is he at? You saying we're too close, but where is he at? He's in northern Ohio, close to the Ohio-Michigan border. Yeah, he's probably too close, so he's probably going over me or somewhere in that nature, but yeah, probably too close. You know how that is the way signals are when it gets nice. 60299. Well, you don't know what you're talking about. Hey, Curtis, what you doing out here, man? I saw you on the most wanted list, man. What's going on? Man, why you get called? I was thinking we can try to get on out of here, though. But you know it ain't gonna be that easy with me, and I say something, you know that. But anyway, man, snow, Curtis. Y'all shut down. See, we ready for it up here. We used to it. But lately, we ain't been getting no snow like y'all got it. Y'all got it bad that last time there, Roger.
Yeah, right. Nice talking to you. Hope everything is well around your PCH. And yourself good. Well, nothing like you know, Curtis. What is things for you to as well?
All right, Curtis. Appreciate it, man. God bless you, man. Hope you do things. Hope you do things right, because you know how you don't do things right, man. So I gotta watch you. I really gotta watch you, Curtis. Catch you later, man. God bless. KC9RAP, Milwaukee.
Hello.
Hey, Curtis, good evening. Hello, Joe. Joe came in and said good evening to me. Hello, Joe. KC4 BRG down here. Dropping a bit. Hello, Curtis. It's around myself. KC4. Good luck tomorrow, so good to hear you. K9ARM 73.
K9ARM 73, I-73. There we go, folks. I've got in Cuba, Michigan, Oklahoma, Mississippi, and Chicago. Any other station want to come in? Come with the call sign. So Delta 3 India, the project 140-meter Delta wellness check-in. Just to let you folks know that we're here. We're here every Thursday night, 9 o'clock. We're going to take a couple of hertz. Just to let y'all know if you ever need us on 40 meters. 83 I-15 PQ, these stations in there.
Kilo Bravo 0, Papa Alpha Tango.
Kilo Bravo 0, Papa Alpha Tango. Nice signal coming in. You got a QF5 going into Sugar Charlie, Roger.
Yeah, copy that. I've got you about a 5 and 8 into Nebraska, November Echo.
Wow, I'll tell you what, 40 meters is all over the place with you today, but gosh, the noise level is way down. I've got clear audio, just pushing 95 watts right now, Roger.
Yeah, I'm at 100 watts, and you just jumped up to 5 and 8, so I'm not sure. You learned a special event or something. I just tuned in.
No, sir, every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, as a result of Hurricane Helene, the ProjectHelene.org website, what we're doing is just let folks know if you need anything on 40 meters, every Thursday night, 9 o'clock, give or take a hertz, we'll be here. Roger?
Yeah, copy that. So you kind of dropped off on me again, so I'm not going to be able to hear you very well, but wish you luck and hope it all works out.
There you go, good. We'll QSY to 80 meters if you want to try it. Meter 3821 in just about 5 or 6 minutes. 3821 on 80 meters. I appreciate you.
3821, is that what I heard?
That is the QSL. They got a gentleman sitting over there now giving you a shot.
Okay, I'll switch over there and see how that works. So that's pretty noisy for me usually, but I'll say 7-3 and let you go. Thanks for picking me up. KV0PAT.
KV0PAT, appreciate you, man. All right, y'all, this is 83 I-60 40 meters. Excuse me, so let y'all know we're here. 83 I-60
Here we come, yeah. I don't think I'll get him.
I got everything but
What does the dial?
Kilo, Golf, 5, Uniform, Foxtrot.
That radio doing switch to 80 meters. I don't know. I think so.
5, Uniform. Looks like it's doing something.
Yeah.
I got a clear
It
audio.
keeps the last three.
Here. Carolina.
And then it switches to 37. I think that's what you meant.
Your fault, I'll give you about a 5-7. Clear audio, just, the signal just sounds a bit weak, but coming in from Texas, I'll take it tonight, Roger. All right, my friend, well, if you want to, we're going to try this on 80 meters. I believe I got my partner over there on 3821. Yep, 3821. We're going to try 80 in a few minutes, Roger.
I'll scroll over there on this other radio.
I appreciate you coming in here, Jacob. You have to
See if we can hear him. 21, I think she said.
Delta 3 bring in is a few more minutes to KI5UCO Project Believe Nelson.
Yeah, I can kind of hear him there.
We're going to have some storms in the area, but I'm going to QSI to 80 meters. Let me do a final call on 40. Alpha Delta 3 India, is there any station out there? Check the signal. Alpha Delta 3 India, CQ. Alpha Delta 3 India, QSI to 80 meters. I'm headed to frequency 3821. This frequency is clear.
Well, we just happen to be there already. Let me extend you up. Look at there. We're on 3821.
Echo 4, 50 Echo 4, Juliet Charlie. You copy 80.
Now shows 250, while the digital display shows 37, 40 something. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never actually looked at the dial on that thing. Let me turn it back on. 243. Yeah, let's go back down there. I guess right there, that big line would be 250. So we're just to the right of it, so we're closer to 200. So it's 245-ish. It's not all that calibrated. Definitely old stuff. There they are on 80 meters on the other radio.
Now go ahead and take the update from the if it's anybody else too, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Again, I'm going to call CQ180. This is Whiskey Echo 4 Juliet Charlie calling CQ for any station anywhere.
I'll turn that down a little bit. We're going to tune up if we can. That's getting a little better. See how much power that is. It's almost 60 watts out. Oop, wrong way. Come on. That'll be good enough for government work.
Yeah, but you're on that number. It's not the least. They can sure do a number on you, but you got a great signal, though. You keep on doing what you're doing.
No, it's not the same antenna. The one on this 735 is an inverted L for 630 meters. Let's see, 250 foot horizontal and 30 foot vertical with 60 or so radials. And on the 130 SE, the Kenwood, it's just a 40 meter dipole. And 40 meters has some uncharacteristic noise. And this one I'm running the attenuator and the preamp at the same time. So it does sound a lot cleaner on 80 meters for sure.
He just started asking questions before I dropped off. Now, he took quite a few. He did well.
Yeah, you did so good. I had met with a family to get them covered on GMRS and raced it out of Charlotte. Then my son wanted to meet the parking lot, to which I had a question, and he needed his truck and car switched. And I'm really having to hold my bladder. And I ran to the car and I didn't have an antenna on it, so I had to use the walkie-talkie on the hood of the car, right?
Roger. Well, you still made it in. No problem. Maybe when we see you next time, I'll take a drill and put a hole in that car for you.
It was just kind of funny to me, but yeah, it's getting the word out.
Yeah, it is kind of a big antenna. Ironically, I'll turn that down a little bit. My performance on 160 meters is much worse than it was whenever I had a 750-foot delta loop in its place. Now, all my radiation on 160 and most of it on 80 goes pretty well straight up. So, very NVIS. But, of course, now it performs better on 630 meters. So. Yeah, QSY. Yeah, QSY anywhere. I've got no interest in this. Where are you at, if you don't mind me asking?
That's fantastic. We're trying to get Kathy up on general. She's got a bit of studying to do, but she's enthusiastic about it.
You're trying to keep her busy on 20 meters, for sure.
Or you mean just QSY in general? To some other station?
But we're down here really for the weekly Project health and wellness check. So we're going to say CQ. Anyone from anywhere want to call in with your call sign now? We will wait and step by for you.
1620. It's in the AM broadcast band, isn't it? Well, we can get there. It'll take a while. This radio's got problems like they all do. All the old ones. Siberia. I don't know if I'll hear Siberia on this bad boy. I don't know what direction that even is. Come on. Is this thing just gonna give up moving at all? Did I lock it? Uh-oh. Turn it off and turn it back on again. How about that? Did that work? Three banders, you say? Let me try this, because this dial is not going. Normally it goes with trouble. It may have quit going altogether now, but I've got a solution. Don't worry, we'll get there. All right, plug in this different mic. Look at there, we're going down now. Between 1620 and 1655. Are they going to be AM or what exactly am I listening for? NPA, okay. I might hear them. This sounds like the sideband of a AM station. Let me actually put her in direct. Ironically, the antenna is actually resonant somewhere in this area. Usually they play Dutch music. Okay. Try the attenuator. I think I've got a local broadcast station pretty close to it. We might have better luck slope tuning them on sideband. There's the carrier. Sorry about your ears. Yeah, it's got a noise blanker, but I think that would bring in adjacent station. It didn't seem to make any difference. Yeah, didn't seem to make much difference other than bring in adjacent stations with it. We'll try to change the level. Uh, 756, I'm familiar with the 756 Pro. I've never owned one, but I've heard they're a fine radio. I'd love to have one. Not the 765. Okay. Dyslexia kicked in. No, I'm not familiar with the 765. Not that I know of. Seven has an awesome receiver. I don't doubt that. ICOM usually has pretty great receivers. This one here is kind of lackluster, I guess you would say. It's got, well, I didn't even try that. We'll see if we can notch stuff out here. So we can almost select one of the 3 stations we're hearing here. With the passband tuning thing. Now that's sports. That's definitely not the Dutch music right there. So. That's true, especially their SDR type radios. Like that one. It's a 705. Which this one suffers on the AM broadcast band from overload quite a bit. I think we'd have a much better chance of hearing the stations you're talking about if I didn't have a fairly local AM broadcast station pretty close to here. I think it's 16 something. So. Yeah, I think so too. We can scroll through the broadcast band if you want to, just see how overloaded it is. Either like 3 or 4 there. Turn the preamp off.
What are we supposed to do now? He says go into the hole and like you just make this out of big voice Dallas is 9:30 and 6:30. 1948, Alice Coachman made history as the first black woman to win an Olympic gold medal. The victory in the high jump at the London Olympic Summer Games cemented her legacy as a trailblazer.
Yeah, we're getting some overload for sure.
Albany, Georgia, in 1923, and grew up in the segregated South where opportunity for black athletes, particularly women, was scarce.
Yeah, I could probably agree. Yeah, 7100 has a receiver like a $13 Chinese radio. Yeah, maybe. I've never owned one, but I imagine it's a pretty similar receiver to the 705. It's got a good receiver unless you have, adjacent stuff. Kind of like any, Chinese junk. Really suffers with overload. Apparently this icon does too, but they're notorious for it, the 735. Yeah, there you go. Mariachi music. And these guys never had an actual radio to know. I don't know. I like the waterfall. Kind of takes some of the fun out of it because people aren't listening. They're looking. They're looking for that strong signal. I know this 705. If we were down here on this broadcast band like we are now with this one, it'd be even worse. So I'll give you that. I think we've just got too much antenna for this radio because it's actually resonant in the broadcast band as well.
Okay, so it's $250 each year, and it's not like they get it all at one lump sum. That's all they get, and that's very generous, by the way. 8-12 to play in the ball game. But as always, phenomenal work.
That's just a heterodyne there. Yeah, I think we're way overloaded here.
Manufacturing job.
Is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS,
If you owe money to the IRS,
$500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids.
yeah, probably.
A company that pays your...
Especially down here, where everything's so close and overlapping anyway.
6690 Nation. The happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling...
I'm curious I don't think I've ever tried it. We'll go over here to our most local AM station. Yeah, there it is. That's 14 miles away.
This is you get on cable television. By the afternoon, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt,
Yeah, they're weak comparatively. I can listen pretty close to them.
Announced during the daily press briefing.
Yeah, pre-select would definitely help.
That she had been made aware. I think you
Guess you do a lot of AM broadcast BXing or something like that.
Has a big impact on the city. The people. He's going to tell us like that.
Did make a couple of videos today about the money that's being spent.
Some double figures tonight. In 10 minutes, he goes long.
I don't normally run AGC. I didn't turn it on. I think that's on. Yeah.
Okay, I asked you a question yesterday. I said,
I just don't think the same way.
Okay, this was the question. How many points do you get?
If these signals are strong enough
and
that
what was your answer?
AGC's all right.
Sometimes one,
But
sometimes two, and sometimes
mostly I
three.
run this radio on 80 meters and 160 meters. So
Yes, I did.
I don't run AGC because the phase shifting of the band,
And I said three.
it just makes it unlistenable if I have AGC
She
on.
heard me.
Katie, no, Katie, there's nobody.
Right. I mean, honestly, I think she's putting more hours in remote, but she also makes less money because her pay is actually set for where it's supposed to be, so she makes.
And pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions.
Read about it.
Crazy? It's just a research question.
Radio show host on KI5UCO. Donate your card today at Cars for Kids.
This one only has one AGC, and I think it's fast, and if you turn it off, it's slow.
The next day, you'll get a maximum tax deduction.
I think.
And don't drop it on WSM at 9.
Yeah, buddy.
You take my heart for a ride, and when you lay it aside, it's smoking. You drag it round like a sack when you
How
come
about
wagging
that?
it back. It's so well documented.
YouTube will have my hide. They find out I've been playing music on here. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show alongside Jay Warshaw. I'm Ken Coleman. So glad you are with us. 888-825-5225 is the phone number.
And the noise blinker's off right now. I share the same opinion, for sure.
Hey, how are y'all? Good to talk to y'all.
Good. How are you?
Yeah, on 160 meters specifically, and usually on 80, I'll run the attenuator with the preamp, and then no AGC. That way it can kind of just hum along for the most part. I don't have a whole bunch of local noise here, but, you know, atmospheric and all that, and some local noise, especially during the summer. It makes 160 unlistenable. There we go. That's 630 meter whisper right there. Audible. Won't bore you with that. Oop. It'll also transmit though, apparently. It's on 27555 with this antenna. I don't know. Could be a lot, could be nothing. I think that's upper sideband they run up there, isn't it? Oh, will it not let me switch? Come on! Well, this is going to be a long scroll then. Gotta figure out what's wrong with this dial, because normally it works. It's just hard, but yeah, it's not working at all right now. Can this not go any faster? Yeah, it's a little faster. It won't go megahertz. Carrier after carrier after carrier. Yeah, but it'd also be directional. Very directional. Have a lot of gain, but not everywhere. So I guess most of those signals probably come from the direction it's pointed, so it'll probably work if there's something there to listen to. I'll be glad when we get out of the AM portion and stop hearing a carrier every 15 kilohertz. We're getting close. We'll switch lower sideband so we can at least hear the hams in passing. I think that's the old mistnet. Guess they weren't there at that time. There's got to be something I've got pressed that I'm not noticing or something. Keeps the dial from working. I checked the lock button, but it doesn't seem to be locked. But also does not seem to want to scroll. A strong something. WWV maybe. We're almost just 80 meters. Oh, man. I've got a few, but I'm trying to think of any. Well, the 705 will. Yeah, that'd be much quicker if you don't mind a modern receiver. I'll get you set up with that. That way it won't take us an hour and a half just to get there. Oh, man. Talk about some overload right there. Get this thing to stand up straight. Stupid tripod. Oop, focused on the wrong thing. Look at that overload. 27555. Triple nickel. I've got nothing. Imagine the band's probably closed. See if I can hear any beacons on 10 meters. Nope. No CW, no beacons. Let's go. It is night, indeed. Whoa. Sorry. Ooh, there's stuff on.
That's pretty great for the field she's doing. She's in
Something on 20 meters. Quite a bit of stuff, actually.
Hey, Tim, I'm losing you, my friend. I'm losing you. You went down to 5x2 here, so?
Yeah. Still works better in the daytime, though.
Thank you, 73, my friend. Have a good evening.
About a week ago, I got Japan on 10 meters at midnight. So
Buenas tardes, Chico, ¿cómo ha estado?
that happens every now and
Por
again.
favor. Alfa, Delta, 7,
Not too
Sierra,
often.
Alfa.
Well, what else do you want to listen to? We can listen to it all with this thing.
Sierra Alfa. ¿Cómo estás, Uriel? Oh, muy bien, muy bien. ¿Y tú cómo has estado? Bien, ¿cómo me copias? Tengo mi antena dirigida para la costa este. Yo sé que estás en Washington, pues dele. Te escucho como con 10 dB arriba de ese 9, sin ningún problema. Como 10 arriba de ese 9, adelante. Pues dele, no, perdón.
I don't speak that
mi
one.
antena.
Do I speak this one? 39.95. We can do it. AM. I'm just getting sideband off of the adjacent frequency. I've got nothing. 7365. All right, we can do it. Just type that one in. 7365. One for every day of the week. Or year. Yeah, 7365. 5920. 5920. Oop. HCJB. Where are they at?
chapter 28. Surely there is a vein for the silver. And
I don't know if that's on them or my receiver, but there's a squeal.
Out of the earth, and brass is molten out of the stone. He setteth an end to darkness, and searcheth out all perfection. The stones of darkness and the shadow of death. The flood breaketh out from the inhabitant, even the waters forgotten of the foot. They are dried up, they are
there.
away from men.
What is that?
Out of it cometh bread, and under it is
40 over?
fire. The stones of it are the
With no preamp?
and it hath dust of gold. There is a path which no fowl knoweth, and which the vulture's eye hath not seen. The lion's whelps have not trodden it, nor the fierce lion passed by it. He putteth forth his hand upon the rock. He overturneth
That squeal is interesting.
He cutteth out rivers upon
Either
the
it's here in the
seeth every precious thing.
South America, Germany, and the USA.
And the thing that is hid bringeth
I wonder which one I'm hearing.
But where shall
Whichever one that squealing's coming from, it can go away.
Man knoweth not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living. The depth saith,
See what?
Babylonian captivity. So kind of put a check there. And specifically under Roman rule, the son of Herod, we know, Archelaus, being banished, Judea became annexed to the Roman province of
I don't
Syria
know where they're
and
from
was
either.
ruled from Antioch. And there's a reason why I'm putting this out there. With so many people always fighting about how could these writers have
phase
written this,
distortion.
you've got to look, there's some kind of internal evidences, which is not my message today, but just to show you how if you were doing this on your own, you would look for internal evidences. There's one clearly right here. If this Gospel of Matthew was written, say, between the period of,
By the way,
we'll just put it between
all right,
50 and 60
I'm in suspense.
AD. Just say, okay? The
I'm using
reference of
tobacco.
Judea,
That's a
and
drug, but
specifically
yeah.
when he mentions born in Bethlehem of Judea. There's a specific reason for mentioning Bethlehem of Judea and also specifically mentioning Judea. And that is, if this book was written after 132 AD, the writer could not have written this without qualifying and saying that Judea and Galilee had merged by 132 and had become known as
I also use a bunch of caffeine. That's a drug too.
Syria, Palestina. That's how it was known after
Caffeine and
132.
nicotine are two of the three major food
If you're
groups.
looking for small internal evidences, there's one. The second one we're going to look at, and it'll keep coming up, is hair.
Election of 2020 was legit. You're not only a fool, but you are, as they would say, a damn fool. I'm just being blunt. Sorry. Sometimes you have to say it the way it's said. Mail-out ballots, Zucker boxes, $450 million by an individual who happens to own a big social media company that was suppressing truth and still does. It's just a tool of the deep state. Many people are...
See what else we got in here.
The Secretary General says that in such submissions, we must not make the problem worse. Violently, we stay true to the bedrock of the natural law.
Dang. That is quite unfortunate. Mother one. Man. HCJB's and missionary broadcast. Well, that's fantastic. There's a lot of those on the broadcast 75 meters for sure. We're getting some of that overload there on this. With my $13 Chinese receiver.
Y se espera que se te vas a ponchar 180 veces y eso sí se lo permiten, que por lo menos tenga 100 boletos. Yo creo que tuve una discusión con Alfred. Una discusión, un argumento acalorado. Si hoy en día están diciendo
con las carreras impulsadas no cuentan.
Que hoy en día,
¿Por qué jonrones tienen el valor que tienen?
Don't know where they're from, but we heard them.
And then DJs, they weren't musicians because they were using turntables. And then now with all of the buttons and sampling and everything else, some of the shows and things that all sorts of performers do, it's funny because it goes back to the guy with the guitar that's now using buttons to create loops and perform it all live, right? So music has changed in many different ways.
Thank you. I thought so too. I have messed around with the reception settings a little bit. Yeah, the speaker in it is really not bad for being so tiny. The speaker in the microphone, I don't know if you ever looked at it, but the microphone comes with a, oh, if I can get it unplugged, it comes with this split cable type ordeal. A 2.5 millimeter for the transmit, and then that 3.5 is for the speaker microphone thing. And that, I don't know why they split it like that, because that speaker microphone sounds horrible, and then you just have a weak feeling cable. Yeah, OVF indeed. Too much power. I think that's what that means, over voltage or something. Overload, something. I can't plug the mic back in, so we won't worry about it. Oh, the preamp is back on. We must have gone far enough out of band that it came back on.
先ほどから関係先の捜索に入りました。告発では兵庫県西宮市の PR 会社に対し選挙運動の対価として報酬を支払う疑いがあるとされていて、
Sounds Japanese, maybe?
押収した資料を分析するなどして刑事責任を問えるかどうか慎重に判断するものとみられます。アメリカのトランプ大統領が大手鉄鋼メーカー US スチールのブリット CEO と6日ホワイトハウスで面会したと欧米のメディアが報じました。日本製鉄による US スチールの買収計画について意見を交わした可能性もあります。
I'm not very good at identifying languages. I'm going to go with Japanese.
大統領が US スチールの幹部と6日に面会する予定だと明らかにしました。そして欧米のメディアはトランプ大統領が US スチールのブリット CEO とホワイトハウスで面会したと報じました。面会の内容は明らかになっていませんが、ブリット氏が
See what else is going on. We're pretty close to where the pirates hang out, so we might as well keep scrolling up.
計画について説明し、実現に向けて協力を求めた可能性もあります。買収計画をめぐっては、バイデン前大統領が
That sounds pretty close to the same. Broadcast DX. Yeah, I like to do a little shortwave listening every now and again for sure. Like to do a little yapping too, but sometimes it is nice to just see what's out there, for sure. Like here we got some nice jazz, I guess. I guess you'd call that jazz. I'm very tempted to turn the AGC off, though. See what happens. way back around. AGC slow's not going to do it for that. Well, we'll make it sound robotic with the noise reduction. How about that? No, can't do that. Yeah, for real. I've heard crazy different kinds of music that you just would not hear unless you listen to shortwave. A lot of it's good. Some of it, not my cup of tea, but somebody wants to listen to it. Keep on going down the line. See what else we can get. Gotta turn that way up. Bet the preamp's about to come back on. There's something. That's some digital thing. More digital stuff. Frequency shift keying. Yeah, buddy. I think it's 6-9 somewhere that the pirates hang out on. We'll see if it's any of them on there. That was whatever pulsing thing that is. Nope, no pirates today. They're usually right in here. And of course there's the ham band. Go to the next broadcast band down, shall we?
There's part of me though, Eric, that's curious. I like to do my spoken word. I'm not a poet.
Yeah.
We have been made.
Other than the squeal.
Of God in Christ. Not by any works that we've done. And how Satan hates that.
That's got to be on their end.
But that's why the Bible says you
because that's right on the edge of their sideband.
For the blood of Jesus Christ, God's Son, cleanses us from all sin. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
The reason why most of you people are struggling is because you can't see afar off. You can't see the end of this matter, which is just about to come to an end. And the reason why is you have forgotten that you were purged from your past sins. How Israel sinned against God down in Egypt and still God
Mr. Stair, is that who that is? Giving the sermon there?
Obedience, and God cleansed them from their disobedience and brought them out into the wilderness, and they forgot it. They forgot it and longed for the leeks and the garlics of Egypt, turning back to the weak and the
Roger on that.
of the world.
I've heard his voice all over.
He saved any of you, if he saved you at all. He saved you out of the world and out of Egypt and out of your sin. Have you forgot that? He that hateth his brother is in darkness. And
go on now. They've got noise on their signal too.
Animals that do the killing do it at nighttime. And of course, some
a 17-year-old. Well, that's not good.
2, 11, and 12. He that blinded their eyes and hardened their heart that they should
that the prospect had a satisfactory quality of geological system and that the ministry plans to
geological
analysis
system
of the collected samples and data. The interim results are expected between May and June, while the final report will likely come in August. The government plans to start a bidding.
Woodlands to Philadelphia.
I can give it to you. I can give you a call back.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Some pilots sounded like. They caught the tail end. Now 5:20. I'm not seeing that on the channel list for 60-meter ham. That sounded like pilots talking about the weather. Some military thing. 60-meter ham band is close to here, but not on 5:20, according to the chart. I hardly ever hear anything on 60 meters. I've been trying to encourage people to use it, but they're probably like me. They're a little scared. Because it is an intimidating band. Yeah, 60 meters is allowed in the USA, but it's limited to 5 channels. And the ordeal is that they give you a frequency, but that's the center frequency, so then you have to figure out what your dial frequency is, which is different than the center. So on CW, limited to 5 channels, and yeah, that's channels. like on a CB, and you're also limited to 100 watts, and that's effective radiated power. If you use anything other than a dipole, you're required to keep a record of that and provide it upon request. Yep, 100 watts, ERP, and 5 channels. The channel center frequencies are 5332, 5348, 5358.5, 5373, and 5405. And that's the center. Dipole, yeah, like a horizontal dipole, or I think it would work out to probably about 75 watts, maybe a little less if you were on a ground-mounted vertical, because you technically have gain over a dipole. So. Like 6 meters and DL. I'm not familiar. What's the restrictions on that? Is it channelized? I knew they were on the next one up. Of course, you scroll to them and they quit talking. So 6M, is that, are you meaning like 6 megahertz or 6 meters?
This is November information.
On this antenna, I doubt we'll hear much. Yeah, I worked a lot of 6 meters when I first became licensed and had great success. But the ordeal was I was out there listening every day with a dedicated antenna. And then, I don't know, I got access to other things, and I just don't find a lot of time to listen to 6 meters very much. So I miss all the good band openings. It was open the other day, supposedly, but I didn't know about it until after, as per usual. Last time I worked any 6 meters, I was sitting out here and it started raining. For some reason, I just had it on and was listening to the call frequency here. And boom, there it was. It was open. And it only rained here for less than an hour. And then it quit raining. And the band closed again. Do I own an RTL SDR? I do. It's not currently out here. I have it with my light transmitting kit because I use it as a receiver for the photo sensing diodes to transmit voice and things over light on a little project I've been working on. I do know of web SDR. I prefer a QE SDR because I have a 22 meter beacon. So, and QE SDR will let you listen on 22 meters.
Delanteros y en lo que fue el balance anual del fútbol cubano se habló de identidad.
They're loud. Rest in peace, headphone users. Nice signal there, whoever that was. Nice signal here. I know that one. And 20 PA is continuous. I'll have to keep that in mind. Because all the ones I clicked on when I started listening for my beacon wouldn't let me tune 22 meters. So I have to keep that one in mind because I'm always listening. I try to pick at least one a day, see if I hear myself. I apply the little map. It's a 1 milliwatt CW beacon. And I've heard myself as far north as Canada, far south as Louisiana, as far west as Colorado, and as far east as New York. I'm in Arkansas. So that's pretty good. Yeah. Everyone I clicked on did have gaps, so I gave up and went to QESDR because all of those will let you tune it. Everyone I've stumbled on, at least. Whatever that is, got pretty weak signal out here. Preamp might help them. Just one, though. I must have. It's hard to find ones because with this 22-meter beacon ordeal, I'm looking for ones in the United States because with that low of power, I don't see myself crossing the ocean very often. So, and the web SDR just sprinkles them in there. It may have a sorting feature so you can sort where you're looking at, but what's QRG mean? I'm embarrassed. I've never used that Q term, so I don't remember. I kind of had a hunch. Well, that's a hard question because it drifts around with temperature. But best I can tell, it's 13 megahertz and 564.20, roughly. Plug it in, it's probably going to create some noise. I usually unplug it when I'm actually out here in the shack. And we'll find out exactly where it is. Yep, that's it. Let's see where it is right now. Let's go to CW. Span. Well, that's not right at all. Apparently it's on 13.561.66 right now. CS call sign KEPR, Kilo Echo Papa Radio. I wonder why it's so low in the band. Must be real cold. I'll just heat it up. Oh, it's going lower. Might have a capacitor blown or something. I can't think of why it just moves so much. Now, it's part 15, 22 meters, part 15. There's a list of them on HF Underground. I'm just curious as why it's so low in the band. Might have to unplug it and figure that out. I'm in Arkansas, USA. Yeah, I may have to unplug that thing and figure that out, because it shouldn't be that low in the band. I don't even know if that's in the legal part of the band. Arkansas, yeah. I just figured you poking fun at my accent. There's a big old white. No, I forgot. Okay, they're not white.
You know his word is true, but you get caught up in your works, and you think that you've got to earn his love every day. You think that you got to pull the line, dance the dance, jump through the hoops. You've got to make the mark every day. You got to get that happy face, or else God's not going to save you. You're not enjoying God. You can't enjoy God like that. Listen, you're born again. You love the Lord. You're going to heaven. But you need to understand something. His thoughts toward
That's
you now
a big
for
old
future
strong
and for a
signal
hope. He
right
loves
there.
you.
And we'll chase it, whatever that is. All right, stop chasing us. There it is again. Let's chase it. Yep, 5-9 plus 20. There's the ham band. It's pretty populated. FT8, oh man. I think there's another broadcast band down here. I can't remember. No, WWV's down here somewhere. Maybe 2.5. Yep. They're a little over 9. At the toe.
At the tone, 3 hours, 37 minutes.
4 days universal time. Maybe there wasn't a broadcast band down here. I can't remember. Get on out of here, preamp. We don't want you.
I'm sure he has the right to be doing it.
I don't know on some of that. The Treasury is the only one I heard about that they said that he didn't have authority to look at stuff in the Treasury or something.
But he depends upon what classification the government has given him. If they've given him
Sounds like they're talking
blue
politics.
classification, he can look at anything he wants to, I think.
Unless there's some kind of law on the books.
Yeah, mention the raincoat.
58. Back down the broadcast. Alright, stupid preamp. Go away. Go back over there to 30 or 36. 16, whatever you said.
Call at Granger.com or just stop by.
Too much in there. Can't copy any of it. Go down here to the navigation beacon, see what they've got going on. You go to CW so we can avoid all that carrier. No Dutch in the 705. We're getting navigational beacons though. See, What is that? That's V. What is that? R C V. I think. Hundred and 37. 2,200 meters. A bunch of broadcast beacons. Normally can't scroll down here because I'm transmitting on 630 meters. So it'd be 136 there somewhere abouts would be the whisper frequency, which is probably all that's going on down here, if anything. Oop. That might be a whisper transmission. I have never heard anybody on 2,200 meters. We'll go check for that Romanian broadcast. Let's see how WWVB is coming in. Got an S1. Not too great on the propagation for VLF, I guess. Alright, I don't know which one. It'd be faster just type it, I think. Yep, that's a WWVB. It's what the, I guess the atomic clocks, what they're listening to for accuracy. It's also in Colorado, to my knowledge. Let's see here, before I lose it. 15. Oh, that's 153 kilohertz. Okay, that's close. I might as well just scroll there. Scroll there with the big wheel. I scrolled past it. I was looking. I'm not hearing any Romanian signals here. Preamp, we'll give it a try. I bet it'll overload with broadcast stations. Yep. I'll try one preamp. Yep, still got broadcast in there. There's that cheap $13 radio effect you got going on there. Hear lightning crashes. Must be gonna storm here in the next couple days. Let's see what we can find. Let's just see. That's why I turned the yeah, right. This one's a Japanese version, so it was cheaper, but still far from actually being $13. Yeah, this is why I turn off my beacon while I'm in the shack. Because just due to proximity, I can't hardly receive anything due to that overload. Use a small knob for that one. See if there's anything out here. Frequency shift key. There's something there. I can plug it a beacon.
Now that was an incredible statement. A person who felt that his or her leprosy was cured was required to go
no signal over the 705 can reproduce any signal that isn't there.
Still have the disease. But here's what's amazing about this.
Messes up even good signal.
Nearest priest, they still
Well,
have their leprosy.
hey, look, radar. Yeah, I'll do one even better. I still think that the 7100 or the 7300, whatever, is still a better sounding radio and handles signals better than that Yaesu equivalent. Some people love that Yaesu. I don't even remember what it's called, but yeah, I do not like it. I don't like how it sounds. It sounds robotic and distorted. It just doesn't sound good to me. Not the 991, it's that other one. I can't remember what it is. The 991 is a pretty okay radio, I think.
The Jewish people from Galilee looked down on the Samaritans for reasons that went back centuries. But now, isn't it interesting? It's this one.
The 705 sounds beautiful on transmit, I think. it's almost a detriment because it's hard to get that punchy audio that you usually need to get through while you're QRP, you know. So it sounds too good. Usually if I want to have success QRP, I'll break out the Yaesu 817 with the Soda Beams compressor so that I can get that ugly sounding punchy audio. And something just happened to something. I don't know if that was the band or something local to me, but something came on and wiped that. There it goes. I didn't touch a thing. By an amp they put behind it. I've put an amp behind my 817 and I blew the amp up. Too much ALC that I wasn't able to actively monitor. Whoopsie. I was running Whisper on 80 meters at 100 watts. It didn't like that. 817 is fine, but the amplifier did not like that one bit. And there that is again. I wonder what that is. Whoa. I might have to do noise reduction on this. Much that I hate noise reduction. Wherever that is, it's weak. Real weak. I hear that. Main thing I don't like about it is because people will bring up the point, and they're correct, why would you spend that much money on a QRP radio? My ordeal is if I have more power, then I'm going to use it. So I like the challenge of QRP. And the other thing is, in the case of the 817, it's portable. I cannot say that about this 705. Yeah, it's light and little, but the form factor is just not good for portable operations. It stays here in the shack because I'm afraid I'll break it. It just doesn't feel like it would stand up to portable operations. So it lives out here in the shack where I operate QRP from the shack every now and again. Usually quite often. Yeah, I've seen that. Price tag on that is looking to be just as ridiculous. Hopefully it's got a built-in tuner, because that'd be the only thing it'd have over the 705. That's a very wide-banded radar or something. It actually looks like lower sideband. No, it fooled me.
Temporarily 1100 Zulu until 1500 Zulu.
Yeah, FT1MX or some other stupid name.
No, vertical visibility 700 feet. Becoming between 11.
Yeah, I'm not going to go for it. I'm a big fan of QRP operations and QRP radios. But I'm not going to spend that kind of money again.
St. John. Forecast amended at 0116 Zulu.
Be just fine with the 705. It does everything I need it to do.
00 Zulu.
And the 817, it's a workhorse. Miata of radios, I've heard it called.
Wind 270
I even use it pedestrian mobile. I carry it around in a little pouch. Mount an antenna to a backpack. With success. I'll have cheap commercial AD converters. I can believe that. It just sound bad on receive. And their new radios don't sound good on transmit either.
From 0600 Zulu, wind 250 degrees, 12 knots, visibility more than 6 miles.
You have to really play with a Yaesu to make it sound good. And if you wanted something that's not that involved, just get you an Icon. It sounds good out of the box.
Visibility 5 miles.
Sounds good enough, you know.
Showers. Ceiling 2000 overcast.
And the 7300 even sounds good on AM. I've heard people on 160 meter AM running 7300s. Surprisingly, it sounds good. You'd think it'd be kind of an afterthought. Like all modern radios, AM, you know, is not their primary function. So they kind of just put it in there. But no, they sound good. I've never heard a Yaesu radio on AM 160 meters.
100 Zulu until 1300 Zulu. Visibility 1.5 miles. Light snow. Ceiling 1000 overcast. Broadcast of 0300 Zulu meter observations. Montreal Mirabel. Montreal Mirabel.
Yeah, this one's not even all that good to use. None of them really are. The 160 meters, I keep going back to that, but this inverted L receives horribly on 160 meters. My Delta loop, however, it received great, as you would expect a closed, you know, symmetrical loop and all that. But yeah, the inverted L, it's bad. I've been tempted to put up a beverage antenna or similar just for receiving, because the inverted L transmits just fine and dandy, but yeah, it receives horribly.
0200 Zulu, wind 180 degrees, 5 knots, visibility more than 6 miles.
So I don't know if you've ever read the book Low Band DXing. I forget who writes it. His name's John. But yeah, most of the serious DXers, on 80 meters and 160 and lower, all have, you know, separate transmit antennas from their receive antennas. It's a good read. There's not a whole lot of reading. A lot of the ending and middle, most of the book really is diagrams and things. But it's a good one to have around. It'll talk all about radials and, you know, techniques for, yeah, beverage, great for receive. Unfortunately, only in one direction, unless you have a phased array or like a loop on ground type beverage thing. Which is what I think I'll go for if I ever get one. I just do a loop on ground instead of running, you know, thousands of feet of wire in every direction and having to deal with switching them and all that. It'd work better, but it's just not desirable to me. That's a lot of wire. Yeah, it gets omnidirectional, or at least bi-directional, I would say, depending on how long it is. I think my next transmitting antenna will be a rhombic, if I can fit it in between the trees here. I've got trees that are in a rhombic shape, the same trees I was using for my big old Delta loop. I'll just have to, instead of going into a triangle, you know, go into a rhombic shape.
0300 Zulu, meet our observation.
Yeah, less directional.
Time
Then you'd only need,
00 Zulu.
well, depending on how long it is, you'd only need 2. If it was only a couple wavelengths long on the frequency in question, then yeah, you could probably just run one east and west and one north and south. That's an idea. Just have to pick the band I would be interested in. Why not a delta loop? It would work better. Because I was interested in 630 meters, and I could not get the delta loop to match on 630 meters. So I went for the inverted L and put it up just to test to see how it would go. And I got your just standard cheap Chinese 49-to-1, and I hooked it to the inverted L, and Bob's your uncle, boom, right there. It was resonant on 630 meters, at least enough to use. So that's why I took the delta loop down and went with the inverted L. It has severely impacted my performance on 160 meters and 80 meters, which is all right with me because it keeps me going. Because when I had the delta loop up, well, I had like what I would consider the king of antennas, so there was nowhere to go from there. It was as good as it gets. Gigantic delta loop, gain in all directions. I could talk to a guy in New York day or night on 10 meters.
0 degrees, 8 knots. Visibility 1.
So I mean, it was boring. I'd scroll through there, and even on QRP, say on 20 meters, POTA activators would call, and I'd call back first time, and they'd respond to me. Even though I'm running 5 watts, they'd tell me they doubted I was running 5 watts. So I'd have to send them a video, and that was it. I know there's not that much on 630 meters, but I wanted to do it. And I'm not done with it yet. I've gotten nearly coast to coast on Whisper on 630 meters with, let's see, 0.005 watts. And I'm building a transverter. It's almost done. That'll get me 5 watts. Because I want to at least get coast to coast, if not make it across the ocean. And then after that, well, I'll be done with 630 meters. Because, yeah, there's nothing down there. Then I'll have to get somewhere on 2,200 meters. Yeah, curiosity kills the cat. Kills the delta loop, that's for sure. But I can just as easily put it up and make it better. Put it at the tops of the trees instead of 3/4 of the way to the tops of the tree, which will put the whole thing about 60 foot up, be about 750 feet in length. And I feed it from the corner to purposely make gain go in pretty well all directions on 10 meters and 20 meters and all that. Worked out pretty well. Probably use a different mix for my 4-to-1 un or just run ladder line the next time I put that back up, because I used a type 43, which was actually very inefficient for some of the frequencies I was using it on, but it didn't matter because I had enough wire in the air and I had enough gain that lose 10 dB but gain back 20. You're still making profit. How did I feed the loop? I wrapped a 4-to-1. Let's see, that would be a ballon, I guess. A 4-to-1, yeah, 1-to-4, however you want to say it. Yeah, I used 4-to-1. I might try ladder line next. That way, if I choose to run a ballon or an unknown or whatever, I can mess with that on the ground instead of in the air. And if I don't use it, then I'll just run the ladder line. And if I want a a vertical that is, you know, capacitively loaded on the top, I can just short the feeders together. Make it more pointed. That was about as pointed as you could get. It'd be down to 50 ohms on one frequency, maybe. Oh, well, a couple. You know, every so many harmonics. But yeah, I was trying to use it on every band. And, well, I did use it on every band except for 2 meters. I never built a matching network to match that up. I was intrigued, though, with that extra transformation. Yeah. Feed 100 watts in it, and the loss is negligible to me, yeah. Because even at 5 or 10 watts, I'm still getting out and beating pile up, so I called that a win. I could get over to Europe on 40 meters during the day, which I don't know if that's impressive or not, but I'm the only one around here that I've heard say that. I'd get over into Africa and Europe on 80 meters nightly. Never cross the ocean on 160 meters because you still don't have really any. You're still technically worse than a dipole in free space, even with that much wire, just because of how low it is. But you're better than any dipole at the same height. So it worked well on 160 meters. It just didn't work well enough. How much loss does it have? Frequency depending, I would say. But I think that the one I had, I never measured it exactly, but I'd say it probably had 3 dB loss on 10 meters. But then the gain of the antenna itself was nearly, I believe it was 14 dB gain. So that 3 dB I lost was more than compensated for. Oh, 1.8 dB. Yeah, that sounds right for a lot of frequencies. So yeah, I think how long was the Delta Loop? 750 feet. And it wasn't a perfect triangle. And it was fed with a balun or an unknown, whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot of loss and nothing was perfect. It was a compromise for sure. Yeah, 750 feet. But it worked. It worked fantastic. I could receive just about anything I cared to listen to, but I still don't know if I'd have heard Romania on the broadcast band. That's what the modeling software said, somewhere in that neighborhood, yeah. Could be slightly off because it's been a long time since I've looked at that model. But yeah, it was quite a bit of gain.
Today's proverb comes from Zimbabwe. The compassion of a people is cultivated at the grandmother's knee. When I was a small child, I remember how much I looked forward to visiting at my grandmother's house. She was a kind and generous woman, even though she never had much in the way of earthly possessions. There was always a candy jar sitting on the table and a warm welcome when you entered her home. As the years progressed, I learned that my mother was very much like my grandmother.
On 11 megahertz of all things.
And always thinking of others.
Yep.
These were values she learned from her mother.
No preamp, so they're true. I think they peaked at about 20 over.
Families are one of the greatest teaching tools to ensure that character and values are passed down from generation to generation.
So that's not bad.
Within a family, parents and grandparents not only have the opportunity to teach the child sitting on their knee, but also to demonstrate.
Ironically, I can't get this. I can't get this inverted L to tune on 30 meters, which is hilarious that we're hearing African broadcast, but might be too close. I haven't looked to see what it actually is on a nano VNA, where it's actually quote unquote resonant as far as that high in frequency. I've only been interested in 630 meters, and I happened to see it was resonant in the broadcast band.
In her 83 years of life, I never heard her utter an unkind word about anyone.
Well, the AM broadcast band, whatever you'd call that.
The Apostle Paul understood the power of generational teaching when he spoke these words of encouragement to Timothy. I'm reminded of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded now lives in you. 2 Timothy 1:5. Timothy had not become the outstanding young man he was by accident. His character was cultivated at the knee of his.
They were talking about Timothy a while back at church I go to every now and again. It's a pretty good book. Little letter from Paul, I believe it was. Pretty interesting.
Tribal and family traditions were once passed on from generation to generation are now being lost because we have forgotten this important lesson. Hannah was another woman in the Bible who understood the importance of instilling godly values in her son.
I have to remember where that was.
Dans l'impact environnemental de l'IA entre des modèles larges qui sont très consommateurs de carbone et puis des modèles plus légers qui sont beaucoup plus...
Almost sounds like I have noise reduction on, but I think that's just them.
Il y a un certain nombre de législations qui prévoient que les producteurs de modèles d'IA vont devoir faire preuve de transparence. Et il n'y a pas de standard et de label à travers le monde actuellement pour produire ces données parce que l'impact énergétique de l'IA, il y a la manière de pré-entraîner les modèles, la manière de les déployer, la manière de refroidir avec le
I don't know what language that is either.
Donc la première chose que fera l'observatoire, j'espère, c'est de travailler sur comment établir ces standards. Et ça concerne la Chine, comme les États-Unis, comme l'Europe et tous les producteurs d'IA. C'est se mettre d'accord sur les bonnes méthodologies pour le faire.
Propos recueillis par Yang Mei de la rédaction en chinois de Radio France Internationale. Et c'est que tout ce week-end, RFI vous propose des programmes dédiés à l'intelligence artificielle.
Yeah, that sounds French to me.
L'ancien président français et ses coprésidents jugés soupçonnés d'avoir reçu des financements libyens pour la campagne présidentielle de 2007. Parmi les tâches de la Cour, retracer les routes parcourues par l'argent en liquide et par des virements pour alimenter la campagne coûteuse du candidat à l'époque UMP. Et les juges ont entendu un prévenu et ancien collaborateur de Nicolas Sarkozy, Thierry Gaubert. Il a notamment dû s'expliquer sur un virement douteux, Baptiste Coulon, avec quelques difficultés.
Février 2006, 440 000 euros atterrissent aux Bahamas sur un...
There's a lot of in there, so yeah, that's got to be French or something. See what else this thing got to offer. Still sounds like I've got noise reduction on. I can't understand enough of their modulation to try to pinpoint an accent on that one. Modulation's pretty poor over here. Radar. Let's find it again. Let's try it. Where'd it go? I scroll past it. There it is. I guess we try a preamp. Still just bad quality modulation, I think. I may be alone in that opinion, but too many lows. See, go to, how do you turn that on? There we go. Yeah, they got too much low, not enough high. Can't understand it. Set, tone, C, well, we've added treble already. Let's try it again. An extra menu other than this one? Must be old. Man. I'm only like 25. I think 25. It looks like the proper level of modulation. Yeah. Audio just doesn't sound good to me. Yeah, I was going to agree. Oh, that's TX. We'll try 3. That sounded okay. It just still has like the robotic qualities of like noise reduction. Like even when I had the noise reduction off, it still sounded like that. And I just don't care for that style of modulation. Over compressed, I think, is what I'd be looking for. finally modulating to what I would assume is the proper level. Looks like they're, yeah. Yeah, it looks like their carrier is approximately 2 divisions, and they're going to a couple more, and that's 3 ms per division. That looks right. So they're properly modulated, but it just sounds compressed to me. Even when we had the noise reduction on. Oh, we got a nice carrier. So maybe it was just phase distortion, because now it's sounding better. Yeah. I'm thinking that was just phase distortion, because every now and again they sound good. See, that sounds nice. And that sounds horrible. It may just be phase distortion, or maybe they're over-modulating. Because it seems whenever he's saying like or whatever, when there's less modulation, it sounds good. See, that sounded good right there. Now it sounds bad again. It's got to be conditions then. I forgot the task at hand. I still have no idea where they're from. Maybe it's YouTube compression or something. I don't know. Maybe my ears are broke. Sounds good every now and again to me. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out where they're at. I'm gonna give up. I can't identify it. No, I don't speak any other language. I learned a little Spanish. Enough to communicate in the workforce, but nothing spectacular. That's frequency shift key. There's some nice radar. Man, that audio looks beautiful. Look at that modulation. Yep, 30 meters. WWV. Yeah. Yeah, me too. I love the food, especially. And I'll tell you, I worked at a place where I was the minority, right? And it was mostly people of Mexican and Guatemalan and other, kind of similar descents. And it was fantastic. It took them a while for them to warm up to me, working there with them and all that. And they made a point to learn enough English to communicate with me, and I made a point to learn enough Spanish to communicate with them. Next thing you know, a different family is inviting me over for lunch every day, and oh man, food was amazing. They'd give me a beer, and that's all we needed to know. That's all the communication we needed to do. It was fantastic. Mexican food do you like most? I'm white as they come, so tacos. I mean, just regular old tacos. But it was all pretty good. Most of it I didn't know the name of. They probably told me, but I probably repeated it back to them in broken Spanish, and they laughed, and that was it. Yeah, taco. Burrito's pretty good, too. That's a weak one there. Good evening from New York. Yeah, good evening from Arkansas. Just doing a little shortwave listening here. Talking about tacos and burritos. Yeah, I think they're too weak for me to bother to listen to there. There's a strong one.
kera ashobora kuba yibuka n'abamuzi bazi ko yakomokaga Asterida ariyo ubutare iruhashya n'igikorwa cyiza ndishimye cyane kubona umwuzukuru uza gushaka sekuru abishyize mu rukundo.
Yep, 705.
Uyu sokuru wawe uyu mubyeyi ntamwiteze
The Heroes, that Greek thing. I had one from Arby's once. Didn't care much for it. I don't really like flatbread. But yes, sir. 705. My antenna is a delta, or not delta loop. Let me get this out. It is an inverted L. 250 foot horizontal, 30 foot vertical, and several ground radials to the order of, I think I've got 60. I added some more today. I can't remember how many there are, but there's several radials. And it's natively resonant on 630 meters and the broadcast band, the AM broadcast band, way down yonder. Heroes Burrito. That's funny. Quite a massive antenna for this. By these frequencies, we're not quite as directional, so that helps a little bit. See, that's what I call good modulation. Now, 630 meters is what the antenna is actually, quote unquote, for. That's why I'm using it instead of a delta loop. That's what I originally had in its place, and it worked better for all the other bands, but I wanted to get on 630 meters, so we're kind of compromised. Very directional and on all the other frequencies. 250 feet horizontal, 30 foot vertical. kind of a big install. It's hard to put up by myself. Yeah, 250-foot horizontal, 30-foot vertical, which 30-foot vertical is ideally the part that matters the most. But since it's so long horizontally, it's whatever. It works on 630 meters. That's all I care. Kinda. I usually will tune this inverted L up on 160 and 80 meters, and sometimes I'll work 40 with it. For the most part, I've got a fan dipole kinda, and I use it on 40 and 20. And on all the other bands, I usually operate QRP and portable, so. But if I'm out here in the shack, yeah, I use a different antenna. A lot of times, I will just take a ham stick out there, and I will hook the ground side to the radial field that's here already, for this antenna, and I'll just use a ham stick, and that works just fine. Fantastic even sometimes. I usually don't actually bring the ham sticks with me because I'm more of a fan of soda than I am of POTA. So I have a backpack set up for pedestrian mobile with the Hustler resonators, and I just use half of it, the coil and the top radiator. I guess they say goodnight. But then I just use one of those cheap Chinesium 18.5-foot telescoping things that you can get for about $20, and have an adapter to bring it from 10 millimeter to 3/8 by 24, and I just use a ground spike and about 60 radials I made out of ribbon cable, and then I've got a loading coil that will bring that to quote-unquote resonance on 40 meters and as low as 60 meters. I can't quite squeeze 80 out of it, but that's what I bring portable, usually. The ham sticks I actually use most at home or on a vehicle. They're just too long. Too long to bring with me in the backpack. They stick out too much. Let me find another station here. Yeah, both the noise reduction and noise blanker are off. Now that's bad modulation right there, which I think that's bleed over from that other station over there. Maybe noise reduction will help with that, and tighten up the filter a little. The quality's way down with that filter on tube, but at least you can kind of hear it. Turn this preamp off. Yeah, that helped a little. Can we run filter 1 now? Not really. Might have to adjust the treble again. Gabriel, G-R-A. Yeah. I'm not familiar with those model numbers by any means. Is it, is it a vertical? I'd assume, since it's got a tripod. I don't actually know how to adjust the level of the noise reduction. I hardly ever use that. Let's see. Can I find it? That'll get us back to that thing. Hold it, maybe? Ah! Yeah. Oh, you just said that. Two's about as good as it gets, sounds like it. Telescope and verticals work well, especially since I assume that if you're portable operating, I mean, sensibly, you'll be, you know, probably on 10 meters, 20 meters, 15, maybe as low as 40, you know, to catch those local guys during the day or something. So, I mean, that's the way to go, I think. Of course, maybe have like a backup in-fed half wave or dipole or something. You know, if you climb a mountain, there may be too many rocks to put a stake in the ground or something. So I keep one as a backup, just an in-fed half wave and some wire that I'll have to cut in the field. So that's inconvenient. Oh yeah, you said tripod. Yeah, you put anywhere. Right. I can't believe I missed that part. How heavy is that tripod? Any idea? Now that's right, we got 2 stations here. 430 grams, man, that's carryable for sure. Might have to look into something like that. Well, I do both actually. Pedestrian mobile and portable. Pedestrian mobile is kind of hard, but I do that. I usually cheat a little bit. I'll chase down soda people calling CQ, or I'll jump into one of those contact nets on 40 meters. Just because calling CQ while you're pedestrian mobile and you're weak anyway, while running 5 watts, you'll call CQ a lot before anybody bothers to hear you. At least in my experience.
He calls their, quote, voluntary departure. Lucy Fields or Reuters has more.
Despite heavy wind, rains, and fears of expulsion, Gaza said on Thursday they were more determined than ever to stay put. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz ordered the army to prepare a plan to allow for the, quote, voluntary departure of residents from Gaza. A day after US President Donald Trump announced plans to...
Just gonna warn you guys now. Apparently this phone is at like 15%, so it may just die at some point in the near future. Live streaming takes a tax on the battery for sure.
We are steadfast on our land. They destroyed our houses and killed our children, but we are steadfast.
Trump said on Thursday on his Truth Social platform that Israel would hand Gaza to the United States after fighting was over. and the enclave's populations resettled elsewhere, which he said meant no US troops would be needed on the ground. Regional Houthi Rig and US ally Saudi Arabia rejected the proposal outright. Jordan's King Abdullah, who will meet Trump at the White House next week, said on Wednesday he rejected any attempts to annex land and displace Palestinians. Displacement of the Palestinians is one of the Middle East's most sensitive issues. Forced or coerced displacement.
Sounds like some news there. There's an unseeable radar. Quarter wave on vertical work better than any short portable stick. Yes, yes it will. And that's what I bring with me to actually operate once I get to where I'm going. Yeah, I'm not going to carry a quarter wave 40 meter vertical on my backpack though. That would be comical, but man, that would be it'd be hard to walk.
Ya da üzerinde imara aykırı değişiklik yapan binalarla ilgili yapılan ceza soruşturmaları ve davaları var. Şu anda devam eden soruşturmalar söz konusu. Adli süreçlerde 2031 soruşturma, 1490
Could probably get away with a quarter wave on my back for 10 meters.
toplamda 3522
But I don't think I'd go longer than that.
davalar ve soruşturmalar devam ediyor. 1491'inin davası açıldı.
That's why I use half of the Hustler resonator, because it's shorter than the ham stick. So I think the ham stick would be more effective, being that it's longer. But yeah, it's too long for me to carry on a backpack. Oh yeah, tripod. Yeah. I think the telescoping vertical he's referring to would probably be a quarter wave all the way up to 20 meters at least. I'm not sure on the model. 40 meters, I don't think for any practical purposes you're going to get away with a non-shortened vertical for 40 meters. You're going to have some kind of top loading or inductive loading or something, because it's just too long.
Tarım ve Orman Bakanı Baklı Kahraman Maraş ziyaretinde açıklama yaptı.
Senin meydana geldiği yer 11 ilimiz tarımsal üretim anlamında da son derece önemli bir bölgeydi. Depremden etkilenen illerimizde hem tarımsal üretimin devam.
How long is that vertical you were talking about? When I carried 18.5 feet, it's some Chinesium ordeal.
Toplamda 46 milyar liralık bir yatırımın daha gerçekleşmesi ve bunun maksimum 2 sene içerisinde tamamlanmasını öngörüyoruz. Sadece Kahramanmaraş için 13 milyar liralık bir yatırım planlandı. Bunun 6 milyarlık kısmı gerçekleştirildi. 7 milyarlık kısmı
Wait. Wait there. Wow. Well, yeah, 10 meters. Unfortunately, I live in America, and I'm not very smart. So that'd be 33 feet. I'm going to just throw that out there. I have no idea if that's right, but it sounds right.
Live in Romania. You are listening to Radio Romania International. Next on Radio Romania International, in the spotlight.
Radio Romania. Ability to tune between 7 and 54. with a coil for 3.5. So is it a full length radiator on 40 meters?
Welcome to a new edition of our regular...
Or am I misunderstanding that?
The program that brings you the latest in Romania's international life.
I'm glad I was right, about 33 feet. I cut one the other day, so I was just going by memory.
On January the 27th, the entire world marked the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the concentration camps in Auschwitz and
Frequency, 3.5.
In Poland, the country with the largest
Power
Jewish
rating,
population before the
impedance.
Holocaust, a
Length,
series of ceremonies were held on January
8.53 foot.
27th, marking
Okay, so that one is short. You'd be using a coil on everything above 10 meters.
in the most famous of the death factories created by the Nazi regime,
But it's light.
was the sixth of the 6 million Jewish victims of the genocide perished.
Yeah.
Polish President Andrzej Duda said that his country...
Yeah, 8.5 feet would probably do 10 meters without a loading coil, but anything else you'd have to be loading. So, of course, you'd lose efficiency, but I think you'd still get out plenty good.
Some of them returned to Auschwitz.
I've never weighed the 18.5 foot one I've got, but it's not all that heavy at all, and it collapses down to. Well, it's not in here; it's in the truck. I just brought it to the ham meeting today, so I think it collapses down to just under 2 feet. Yeah, probably like 18 inches is how much it collapses down to. 18.5 foot. About $20 on eBay. You do have to have an adapter because it's a metric 10 thread. 33 foot long fiberglass. Yep. That'd work. And it would work better. Uh-oh. 5%. Let's plug it in this charger here, and we're about to get noisy. Yeah, that would work better. Be a little less practical. I'm not a big fan of the telescoping fiberglass mask thing myself, because then you have to worry about trying to stand it up and put wire on it and all that kind of stuff. See. All right, we got her plugged in. Maybe it won't die now. Maybe this power supply will provide enough amperage to keep the phone going.
Are insidiously disguised with the intention of eroding the fundamental pillars on which the free world is built, in which
in apartments, the options are limited. Yep, I hear that.
Of hatred, attacks,
that EMP cloth, it works. I've seen it on YouTube. I use a ribbon cable. I've got about 60 some odd radials, about 10 foot long. Takes a little while to set up, but the ordeal is, I can run any band, because whenever you got a ground mounted vertical, more radials is better than fewer long ones. So basically I'll set all the radials out, and then I'll tune the whip to whatever band I want to work, without having to mess with the radials. Whereas if I ran elevated radials, I could use fewer radials and get more efficiency, but then I'd have to tune the radials, and that just sounds like a big pain. Yeah, that'd probably work if it was light enough and it wasn't too windy, or just a spike or anything you got laying around. Tent stake. I've got a fishing pole just for that purpose. It's just long enough for 20 meters though.
Surviving Jews and Roma of Europe were freed from one of the most painful and horrific chapters in human history.
Carbon fiber or something. The fishing pole is.
And seeks a measure of justice for Holocaust victims.
I normally don't run it as a vertical though. I put you know, a wire on it and throw the other end in a tree type ordeal. Or run a sloper. Depends on the ground conductivity. Yeah, it does, for sure. But definitely depends on ground conductivity, but I think 60 radials, if you set all of them out, is good enough for anywhere. It's not going to be perfect, but 60 radials in itself is not perfect. Supposedly 120 is perfect, or that's what the AM stations are required to have. But I think with 60 radials laid on the ground, it could be sand up under there, and I think you'd still do okay. Just takes forever to set up.
Anti-Semitism at home and around the world. Holocaust denial and distortion are fed by rising nationalism and xenophobia.
Man, no trees, that ain't good.
Kathleen Kavalik.
I think you'll do all right though with the 8.5 foot. Of course, you know, it'll be a compromise like everything. But I personally think that it'll do okay.
In some countries, we see Holocaust distortion in efforts to rehabilitate historical figures who helped to commit the crimes of the Holocaust. There are those who downplay or ignore the role of local collaborators in helping
Man, you just lost the lottery on that one, didn't you? I'm sorry to hear that.
Romania included, need to face up to the reality of their history, both the good and the bad. It is the accurate education and truthful commemoration of the Holocaust that can teach the new generations about the horrors to which unbridled anti-Semitism and hate can lead, says Ambassador Kavalik.
That's kind of why I dedicate a lot of time on this channel and just a lot of my time to portable operations, because, well, not everybody can build a gigantic antenna in their yard, and even if you can, then what happens if, I don't know, that, you know, we talk about disaster preparedness a lot in amateur radio. Well, your shack is no longer accessible, and all those fantabulous antennas you got set up are now useless. Well, then what then? So I like to keep in practice. Not that I'm a prepper or anything like that, you know. I just think it's good to practice, good to perfect the art, and a great opportunity to, you know, experiment, see what does work and doesn't. Thinking about a mag loop? Yeah. Yeah. I have not tried an actual mag loop. I've tried a multi-turn loop. See if I can get you over there. I'll show you. Don't mind the mess. There's 30 some odd turns, frame antenna type ordeal. And that works wonderful as a receive antenna and doesn't work bad as a transmit antenna. You just have to, you know, take a lot of effort to tune it. But yeah, it makes a wonderful receive antenna.
This museum is needed now more than ever. I would like to conclude by addressing the remaining Holocaust survivors as well as the Jewish community. You are close to our hearts. Your enduring strength, spirit, and resilience.
I think the mag loop would work. I've heard good and I've heard bad about the mag loops. But I mean, whatever you got to do. On the higher bands, you could probably get quite a bit of efficiency out of a mag loop, I would say. I don't know that for definite. I've seen people have good luck with them. Even have like remote tune mag loops and all kinds of crazy. Wrap it around a hula hoop. I saw somebody on Facebook do that just the other day. Was able to tune 80 to 6 meters with it.
Welcome to the music segment.
featured today is Elena Badure, representing the folklore region of Bukovina in the northeast of the country.
Gonna be a challenge for sure. Got a 705. Just got it today. Well, congratulations. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you don't regret the purchase. This is the Japanese model, so I got away with a little cheaper. But I also have restrictions on, usable frequency and such. Especially on 160 meters and 80 meters. But, I mean, usually not using that with 10 watts anyway, unless it's on some digital mode, which it does the digital modes, because that's within the Japanese frequency allocation, so it works out just fine. This one lives in the shack. For actual portable, I take the 817. Don't have an antenna. You got the 705. Well, you're on the right track. You'll get there. I feel for you, though, for sure. Yeah, that's Radio Romania. But yeah, I feel for you. And I'm sorry to hear that you live in an apartment with all those restrictions and handicaps and things like that, for sure. It will be a challenge. I consider myself very fortunate out here. I've got 40 acres I could put antennas on. So that's very good. Very good for me, and I'm proud to have it. Having a nice tripod, looking at it and running it with a shanty, rubbing it with a shanty, shining her up. And mine's dirty and grimy, and it stays right here. I don't want to go break it. And really the form factor is, I would say, subpar for true portable operations, like shoving it in a man pack or this and that, which they have the 705 backpack, but I'm not gonna buy that. I've had this one for going on 2 years now.
On 15 to 5 kilohertz in the DRM system, as well as on the internet at www.rri.ro channel 1. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write an email at engl@rri.ro. Goodbye.
And it's been a nice little radio. I love the waterfall, and I love listening to things on it. And I love using it to transmit. But I just don't take it out in the field. I'll take it like out in the field in the yard, but I'm not going to go beat it up on a mountaintop or something like that. You can't do that to my poor 705.
USA. Address that letter today, and let us hear from you, wherever you may be. May God bless you.
I'm building I'm using the built-in speaker, the one on the radio, not the microphone. I was just saying earlier, I hate that they have the two microphone plug thing. I do not like that at all. I wish they would have just done away with the microphone speaker and made one good solid plug that felt nice when you put it in there, instead of having an extra wire hanging off all the time. I think that's stupid. And use a normal plug so I can use an external microphone. Yeah, it does. It works okay for like CW, and you can do CW from the mic as well if you're into that. You can use it as a straight key or an iambic keyer, and then have the CW coming straight out. So that works. And I have used the speaker in the microphone whenever I've taken this thing in the mobile, because that was an adventure. I was driving around curves and up and down hills and all that. I was on 10 meters on field day, and I'd yell back at somebody calling CQ, and I'd hit a bump, and the VFO would just go way off frequency. So it took me 3 or 4 times to get my call sign in there. And they asked me, what's going on? You just keep just flying off frequency. Yeah, I'm mobile. Having an easily accessible lock button that wasn't right here by the VFO, where if you're trying to press it, see, we pressed it, but we almost hit the VFO. That'd be better. Like the 817 has got a very accessible lock button way away from the VFO, so if I'm mobile, I can find the station and lock it on and not have that problem. I like that much better. So I don't operate mobile very often. Just not something I want to do with low power, because most of the guys mobile I care to talk to live fairly close. So I'd be trying to get them on 40 meters or 80 meters, and that's hard mobile. 40 meters is doable, but 80 meters takes a lot of work to get working well mobile. You're looking at efficiency of like maybe 10%. If you're lucky. They're normally way stronger out here. There's a strong station. Almost full scale right there, with no preamp. Beautiful modulation. Yeah. Got to get them on NVIS, which on the mobile is not the challenge, because the car is so low anyway. The challenge is getting any kind of efficiency out on 80 meters. 40 works okay. I mean, I operate 40 with an antenna on a backpack, so that works. It's fine. But 80, no such luck. I have to run 100 watts to get out while being mobile. And I've looked all around in this thing, and I can't find the 100 watt button. They seem to have let that one out.
WLC Radio, teaching minds and preparing hearts for Christ's sudden return.
Yeah, I normally do. That's why I don't normally run. I don't normally run HF Mobile.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're glad that you've made us.
Because I just talk to them on VHF.
So, Dave, got a question for you. Okay, what's that?
There's a few things, like every morning I hop on. What's up? But yeah, there's a few guys I jump in with on 40 meters every morning, and sometimes I'm mobile at that time. So it'd be useful to give them a shout since they're on 40 already. But yeah, mostly just holler on VHF, because it makes way more sense than trying to holler at them on 80 or 40.
I'm not going to broadcast one of my most embarrassing moments around the world on shortwave radio. Let's just get that clear now.
Fair enough, Dave. Well, that's kind of what I want to talk about today, actually.
What, you want to talk about my embarrassing wardrobe malfunction?
No, not yours.
Oh, Mr. Aiden, what are you up to? We're just doing some shortwave listening and having a little chat here about portable operations and the like.
Up to speed. You'll hear Dave and myself refer to Yah or Yahweh on WLC Radio. We prefer to use the actual name of the Father rather than call him by titles that can just, as easily refer to false gods. The Son's name is very similar. It's Yahushua.
So,
Yeshua.
when we refer to Yah or Yahweh, we're talking about the Father. Yahushua, we're talking about the Savior.
Yahushua. I've never heard it pronounced that way.
Wardrobe malfunctions. So, are you going to share with us one of your many
Alright, I think we'll find some other station there. That was fun while it lasted. Playing a game. Don't holler at me. Yeah, I'm kind of busy here. I don't have a radio out for both. I took the HT with me to the Ham Club meeting. Looks like I might have to stroll a long way to the next broadcasting section. Sure, HT. Well, a lot of times I use the Quansheng UVK5 because I love that radio. Because it's, modifiable.
CHU, Canada. Coordinated Universal Time. 5 hours, 4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Well, they sound good on AM. Yeah, I use the UVK5 most often. Because I've got mine to where it will do SSB and CW and all that kind of stuff on 2 meters. And of course it'll try to receive different bands. Gonna say Yaesu? Psh. No. Not a big fan of Yaesu HTs. I've got the FT3R. I've got Motorola's. I've got probably close to 100 HTs. You'd think I'd have one out here for the frequency Aiden's talking about, but I actually don't. I got the ID51. That one's pretty nice. Yeah, pretty close to 100. I haven't counted them in a while, but some of that's cheating because, those Baofeng 888S things, they come in a pack of like 6 or 12. I'm counting those in there somewhere.
Well, let's travel back in time. Let's see, it's 1966. Let's see what's on TV. Oh, I think we're just in time. The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC. Oh, boys, the monkeys.
Oh, can't do that. YouTube will get mad at me. You can't play the monkeys on here.
Territorio nacional. Y es reiterativo, pero hay que decirlo. Cuando hay un apagón, pues también se afectan los grupos electrógenos y se afecta la radiocomunicación no solo, sino la telefonía celular. Aparte de que no se pueden recargar los móviles, en fin, es todo este escenario que viven todo el tiempo los cubanos inmersos en tiempos de apagón. Vamos a ver si tenemos nuestro próximo invitado. Teníamos de invitado también en La Habana al periodista independiente Vladimir Turró, con quien esperamos tener la comunicación ahí en la capital cubana en este contexto.
That sounds like Spanish.
Tenemos el contacto en La Habana, Cuba.
I think.
Au même moment hier, à Cotonou, mais Ouagadougou, Nairobi et Kinshasa, d'autres artistes réalisaient des graffitis.
Got the Baofeng HP Pro. Got GPS.
144 hommes supplémentaires pour la mission multinationale de soutien à la sécurité d'Haïti en proie à la violence des
You're just getting the setup.
Cette mission compte quelques 1500 policiers venus de plusieurs pays. On en ferait pour l'instant.
I'm not familiar with that Baofeng.
Des fonctionnaires américains invités à démissionner. Les Britanniques sont prévenus, les fonctionnaires britanniques, des économies ou un licenciement.
That's cool that it's got GPS and all that.
Cet été, le gouvernement veut tailler dans les dépenses pour reconstruire ces services.
Yeah, Motorola all the way, yeah. Till you have to program the stupid thing. Because even if you know a source, where you can get the software, you still have to go through the trouble. Yeah. Got my general license since 2005. Just getting back into it. Well, that's all right. Sounds like you got good taste in radio. Just, have reasonable expectations while operating QRP. I'll tell you a little cheat I do. If you're, say, on 20 meters, and you're going through there and you're hunting those POTA stations, because that's about all there is to do on 20 meters. There's probably other stuff, but I haven't found it. Kind of a boring band, but either way. You scroll through there and you hunt that POTA station, you wait half a second after they say QRZ, wait for everybody to start calling, and you wait half a second, however long, and then you start saying your call sign, and then you say QRP, so you make sure you're the last guy in there and you said the word QRP. That's the magic word. They'll pick you up, usually first. The only thing that'll beat that is if you said QRP park to park. Well, man, they'd go after you so fast it wouldn't be funny. So it's cheating, but yeah, people listen for stuff like that. And if you've got a real strong signal over there, they may doubt it, because some people use that. They'll just say QRP even if they're running the legal limit. They'll be lying. So yeah, you may get that too, but it's a nice cheat, and I use it all the time.
pour faire ruisseler ce gaz russe jusqu'à la Hongrie ou la République tchèque. Alors, Robert Fico, le premier ministre slovaque, est entré dans une colère noire.
1,500 watts QRP. Compared to something, probably. And on 40 meters, to be honest with you, if I'm doing something stupid like operating pedestrian mobile with an antenna on a backpack with 5 watts, I scroll around and find there's a few of them. There's a Ole Miss, and there's the NATA. That's the one I check into, the North American Traffic and Awards Net. And it's a contact net is what it is. You get on there, and they'll check you in. And then whoever hears you will give you a call, or you can call whoever you hear whenever the time is right. And you just work stations from all across the country. But for me, as somebody who's doing something stupid like pedestrian mobile at 5 watts, a whole bunch of people congregated on one frequency, listening for people, is the place I'm going to go. So that's how I cheat on 40 meters. The only way to get pedestrian mobile to work, because it's very, very inefficient. And overall, a bad idea. I put 100 watts with an amplifier through my pedestrian mobile setup and shot a Corona ball out of the top of the antenna. So it's not exactly probably safe, but whatever. What's that US-wide net again? All right, I'll turn it down. So you got the Ole Miss, OLEMISS. They've been going on forever. And then you've got NATA, North American Traffic and Awards, NATA. And they both got websites. And they use something called NetLogger, which is an app, or you can do it on your computer to keep track of everything. But yep, that's what they're referring to. Contact net, basically. And their NATA is usually on 7.185, and if they're there, then Ole Miss usually follows right after them on the same frequency. Ole Miss has a net on every band. They've got one on 20 meters, 40, 80, 160, probably 10. Ole Miss is kind of an ordeal to check into, because it sounds horrible, because everybody's yelling at the same time with just a whole bunch of numbers. But the ordeal is to get in there right as they start. But get in there right as they start, and they'll call for QRP first. QRP portable, whatever. So just get in there early on the old MissNet, and they'll be specifically listening for you and, stations like you. So that helps out quite a bit. But then after that, yeah, it's just a whole bunch of numbers, and it's kind of stupid. I don't like the old MissNet very much. I like that North American Traffic and Awards Net. That's my go-to. Where are they out of? What state? They spread their net controls around 39, 45. They spread their net controls around so where they usually have somebody everywhere, or at least in the four corners of the country, who's running the legal limit. And they will more than likely hear you. Somebody will. The guy that hears me, his name is Jeremy, and he lives in Illinois. And he hears me quite well, which I'm in Arkansas. He hears me whether I'm pedestrian mobile or QRP or out here with 100 watts in a dipole. He hears me every time. He even heard me on just coax once. Old Miss, I'm not entirely sure what they do, but they've got relays and things like that. Chances are, if you've got any kind of signal coming out, somebody will hear you on one of those nets, and they'll at least relay you to net control, to where you can, give it your best shot of making some contact. Yeah, I hope to hear you on there. That'd be fantastic. I don't know exactly where you're at, but I mean, I've almost worked all states on 40 meters ever since I started paying attention to it, like 2 or 3 days ago. Just checking into that net and actually logging. I went to New York. I actually get over to New York quite well, and I've even talked to another QRP operator in New York, QRP to QRP, so on a good night, chances are high. If not, they kind of help the people out a little bit. If nothing else, I'll run 100 watts, and they can relay things back and forth. And good night. I have no doubt we can make contact back and forth. Especially if I put my Delta loop back up. K2TRD. That sounds real familiar, if I think about it phonetically. Yeah, that sounds real familiar, but I can't place it. Yeah, I believe I've read that call sign before, because I was thinking Toyota Racing Development.
then I watch all three. Well, most of the time I watch two Chicagos. I watch Chicago PD and Chicago Fire on Wednesday. But on Tuesday, I watch my hero, Will Trent.
Yes, I see him coming on there, and I think...
Yeah, I get over to New York pretty well. In the mornings on 10 meters, it's hit or miss on 20 meters. I don't know how well I get over there because I've never noticed. And at night, 40 meters. And I've even gotten over there on 80 meters a few times. 160 I've gotten over on digital, FT8 and Whisper, but not ever on sideband to my knowledge. So I mostly only operate AM on 160. Yeah, 40 and 80. Well, 40 can be a daytime band, but it goes really NVIS. Whenever the sun goes down, 40 gets long. And 80 meters is almost exclusively nighttime or early morning because the atmosphere doesn't hold the signals in during the day very much. It can during the wintertime, especially when the sunspots are low. But yeah, the sun melts away the layer that 80 does. 160 is definitely, I would say, a nighttime band. You probably could operate 160 during the day, but good luck ever finding anybody on 160 during the day. And in the summertime, pretty well forget that too. It's a wintertime night ordeal, 160 is. 630 meters actually works better during the day than 160 according to the Whisper maps. I've never gotten out on 630 meters during the day, but I'm only running, let's see, 0.005 watts, so however many tenths of a watt that is on 630 meters. So.
Yeah, I was just trying to check on somebody, that's all.
Okay. Well, and I did have your telephone number. You have to text me your number because I think you got a new one and I don't have it.
Okay.
Most people are actually running short antennas. Like the G5RV, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but people would take, it's fed with a ladder line, and they'd short the two pieces of ladder line together. And that makes a vertical with capacitive top loading, and then operated on 160. Well, if you build a bucket variometer with, large amounts of inductance, then you can do the same thing, and you could even load that same G5RV up on 630 meters. So most people are using really short, for the band, really short antennas, and they're almost all vertical. Because for 80, really, 160, 630, and 220 meters, vertical's really the only way to go if you want to make any distance out of it. Because that NVIS thing, of course, it occurs at all of those frequencies. So in order to get DX on all of those lower bands, you really need a vertical of some sort, or a delta loop up pretty high. Because, to get away from the losses of the ground, reflections and whatever you want to call it, you'd have to have, we'll just say 160 meters, you'd have to have that antenna up at nearly 200 feet. So, I mean, I don't have a 200-foot tower. Yeah, most people throw up a dipole for 80 meters, and that works okay because they just accept that it's like a localized band because they're all using NVIS. And then it's funny because some companies will sell a quote-unquote specific NVIS antenna, but they're all they're all NVIS unless you install them at 200 feet. Yeah, 175 meters for 630 meters. However tall that is, a long ways off the ground. That's what it is. Probably 1,000 and some odd feet. No, it can't be. 157 meters. Okay. Now I'm not going to do the math on that, but tall. For any of those low frequencies, you just got to have an antenna real tall or run a vertical. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I was getting 1,000 from, because to make a dipole for 630, you'd have to have, the other half. So, and then it would still not work as well as a short vertical, because of takeoff angles and ground losses and reflections and all that kind of stuff. So if you want DX on the lower bands, vertical's the way to go. 40, you can get DX with that. Nah, I don't think so. You can get DX with 40 with a dipole at 15 feet. I do quite often. So it's about the limit of practicality. 515 feet. Yeah, buddy. Ain't no way I'm getting an antenna that high off the ground. So in the case of this inverted L that I've got for 630 meters, it's fed with a 49-to-1 unun. And the only saving grace is that 30-foot vertical that I've got. If I could have more vertical and less horizontal, then I imagine it'd work better. Because at that frequency, the horizontal part's probably just working like a capacity hat at that point. So most of that signal that goes down that wire is probably just lost into nothing.
Well, but I haven't heard him from him in a long time.
Ah, I'm dropping everything.
I can't either. I'd have to look him up. TYZ. TYZ, yeah. TYZ, that's right. He's not dead, is he? I don't think so. Not that I know of. Last time I talked to him, he said he was.
Not for 630 meters. It just by happenstance. It happened at the exact length between 30-foot vertical and between the next tree over, 250 feet. It happened to match. I would say resonate, but it's not really resonant. It's just matched on 630 meters. Right on the whisper frequency. So that was just luck, just dumb luck. But yeah, for all the other bands, I use an antenna tuner, which I really only use this inverted L on 80 and 160 and 630. So I use the antenna tuner for that. I sure do. I've got a manual antenna tuner. A Drake MN7.
Okay, KC7 Alpha, KC7 and COL. You can count. Get in there driving on stuff. That's pretty simple day. I'm surprised. Maybe $10 or something like that. You got about 200 of the damn thing. I don't know. I'll have enough of those for the next 25 years. And they come in different colors. And that's what I use to label all my cables.
Yeah. You're thinking right. It just allows power to be delivered to the antenna. That's all it is. It's just fooling it. But I mean, there's nothing magic about resonance. Because I mean, people are all about SWR, which is important. Because you want your radio to deliver power to your antenna. But the ordeal is, if you achieve resonance where reactance equals 0, that will occur at one frequency. So if your 40-meter dipole is cut where the reactance is 0 at 7185 on the dot, and by the time you move to 7185.2, you're no longer actually resonant. So, I mean, yeah, low SWR and good power delivery is very, very important. But you can do the same thing with the tuner. I'm a big fan of non-resonant antennas. And a big fan of quote-unquote resonant ones too, like the dipole, just because they're convenient. You don't have to mess with anything. You don't have to fiddle with it. You don't have to tune it up, put carriers all over the band. But I mean, in my opinion, and with data, a little bit of data to back it up, which I can't cite sources right now, but it's the same thing. Whether you tune it up. Yeah, I'm a big fan of non-resonance. I just throw whatever up in the air and tune the thing up and see how it works. I'm a fan of traveling wave antennas, you know, multiple wavelength long to get gain in a direction on purpose, and then just tune it with an antenna tuner. Because, I mean, in that direction that you have that gain, it's going to beat a dipole every time. Yeah, Aiden's right. Yeah, I made a saltwater antenna once and used it on our local repeater over here. Shocked myself and melted a lot of things, but hey, it worked. Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of non-resonant stuff. Just tune it up with, you know, whatever inductance and capacitance you need, preferably on the antenna side, not on the radio side. KI5UCO. How am I going to put up a resonant antenna that gives me 20-something dB gain on something, or 14 dB in the case of the Delta loop? That was a non-resonant antenna. If I cut it for resonance, then I'd have what is an actual resonant Delta loop, like 3 dB of gain? Then I'd have to build a beam or something. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a big fan of throwing a lot of wire in the air and tuning it up with the knowledge that it's going to go. I like the traveling wave antennas, purposely non-resonant so that I can tune it, and then just a lot of wire in one direction and shoot the signal there. That's what I'm all about. Not knocking the dipole or a beam. A beam would be fantastic. I don't have one. Nor do I want to go through all the trouble to build one. Yeah, there you go. Big radio tray. Yeah, I don't want to fool with a beam. I don't even like fooling with the long process of cutting a dipole and then looking at a meter and then recutting the dipole and all that. I don't like that. I just want to throw it up and, oh, close enough. Let me just tune it. Rig Expert, I've never used that one. A lot of people like that one. I just use the Nano VNA. It shows you about the same stuff, I'd say. A lot cheaper. I don't know. There's got to be some difference that makes that Rig Expert more expensive. It's got to be better in some way. You'd think. It can't just be, you know, good looking, because that Rig Expert is good looking. But there's got to be something that it's got that the Nano VNA doesn't. But I've been perfectly satisfied with my NanoVNA, but I have nothing to compare it to, so that could be it. Especially, you know, if you're just looking at SWR, which is what most people do, the NanoVNA does that, I mean, just easy. But it also does reactance and capacitance and gives you a Smith chart to look at. That's handy. I use that all the time, more than I do an SWR graph, really. And see what else. It's got a whole bunch of features in that little itty bitty thing. Looking at the NanoVNA, about $80. They went up. That's crazy. Can find faults along the length of wire. The NanoVNA can do that as well. I don't remember exactly how. I think you connect it from one port to the other, and then do like a length thing. The only time I ever did it, I put a short and then a load at the end and took different measurements and did it manually before I realized that there was a whole separate port, and I bet that's what that second port is for. Measuring stuff coming back in. Because I worked in the cell tower industry for a while. So we would always have to do a distance default short and a distance default load and things like that. And it would measure the length of the coax and also tell you if there was a break or an improperly installed connector and things like that. So I got used to doing that. So that's what I was trying to do with the NanoVNA. But I think if you use the second port, you could just do that without all that extra trouble. Just like you could calculate all the things the NanoVNA does. Using calculations. But I'm not that good at math. Thanks for tuning.
You got a knob here, you turn for your mic gain, and you bring it up or down. You know, so I don't know.
Was I tuning?
Than having all those things on a screen.
I'm confused.
My way of thinking there. Go ahead, Chris. Yeah, I'll tell you, there's nothing like a bigger radio. In that F756 I put up in the basement, my initial thoughts are, man, this is nice. And then back in the day, that was a small radio. So, you know, they're really minimalizing all these newer radios. And it's hard to beat a big
QSY.
full-body radio.
Getting tired of whatever that was we were listening to. I've been distracted in the conversation. Probably talking over the radio and all, but I forgot we were listening to stuff, to be honest with you. Been having too much fun. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. Pretty awesome.
What a lot of people do, they're on the frequency, they lock the dial so that you don't, touch something by mistake and wind up transmitting somewhere else, which I've heard people do. And, they try to make it too compact, and I don't understand.
I could probably open this filter up.
It's not like you don't have a room on the deck, but...
Maybe not that wide. Yeah, that'll work.
756, it's actually the same size.
They're not a silly question. Very important. You get set up the right way, or, well, I guess that's subjective. I don't know the right way. I just know a way that works for me. Right, so you get set up in a good direction, and I mean, that's what it's all about. So it's not silly at all. 2.4 sounds too narrow. Right. I didn't want to put too much noise in there for you. Maybe that noise reduction.
746. No, I had a 756 Pro 2. Oh, okay. And this one you got is just a little bit wider.
Yeah, they got good signals over here.
About the same height. The only difference is that this one has large legs. The legs are about 2 inches in diameter, and you rotate the two front legs, and you can tilt it. The legs become a little longer, so the radio tilts, so you can link the radio, normal. Anywhere you want.
Some of them more than that. If you tune into those hi-fi guys, which they sound phenomenal, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to trash talk them. If you're into hi-fi, that's all cool with me. Yeah, this is 80 meters. Well, 75, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, those hi-fi guys, their problem is they don't know when to quit. Like, how does this sound? It sounds phenomenal. Just like it did yesterday. Yeah, there's a difference, very subtly, but I mean, just quit while you're ahead and use your fantastic audio to talk about something other than audio. It gets real boring. It sounds very snobbish. Because, I mean, they sound good.
And at one point I heard a CW station. I was able to detect a CW station.
I always assumed that 80 meters was the 36 part. And then you get up to about 37, 38, 39. Somewhere in there, it'd probably switch over to 75. So I'm probably wrong, but I just, in my own mind, use it to differentiate whether I'm talking about the voice portion or the CW portion. That's just what I do. I don't know if that's wrong or not. Yeah, there is a 75 meter broadcast for sure.
This radio does not receive, and I guess you know that. Just verify that you know that before I ship it.
Yeah, restudying the band plan is real important because I keep it on the wall because I have to look back at it all the time. I cannot for the life of me remember. Cannot remember where I'm allowed to be, especially on like 20 meters.
Well, yeah, that's a shame. That would have been a key for
because it's a 14,225, but there'll be people talking on the other side.
And I really liked it.
On 80 meters, 38. That number's pretty easy to remember, and there's usually very few people talking below there. So I mean, it's where you hit stop hearing people talk and you're good. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. A lot less noise. I've got to often look at the band plan for 40 meters too, because I forget that one every now and again. The rare occasion I get on 15 meters, I gotta look at that thing the whole time. I like 160 meters.
I appreciated that.
You don't have to pay attention to where you're at all. Where you hear people talking, go talk back.
Credit for that. And to this day,
I think that for their extra, instead of having portions of the same band allocated, because nobody's using those, nobody's talking there. Which, it's not an end-all be-all rule, but, it doesn't get used much. Just open that bad boy up and give the extra their whole band that is just for them, or maybe bands, like just something different, because that would keep the confusion out for the generals, and it would also be just, fantastic. As a reason to actually get your extra, because I don't think I want to get an extra for an extra couple kilohertz. I just want to get it for the prestige. 700 to 750. Yeah, the general portion is 7. 175 to 7.3 is what the generals are allowed. On voice, that is. They're allowed from 725 to 7125 on digital and Morse code.
Okay, very good, John. Take care.
Yeah, I want the 4-letter call sign and prestige, but you know, if you're trying to get an extra just for those extra few kilohertz that nobody's ever on anyway, that's not worth it. Yeah, I just want the prestige, the 4-letter call sign, and the ability to, if I wanted to be a volunteer examiner, to give both tests, or all 3 tests, really. But if they had their own band that was like completely different and only they could get on it, that'd drive me nuts. I'd have to get my extra then, just so I could be on that band. It'd drive me nuts having a frequency I couldn't talk on. Even if it sucked. Even if it was a bad band that really didn't propagate well. Yeah, 3 letters would be fantastic. I'd be fine with just 4. But yeah, 3 would be fantastic. See what these guys have to say. Or gals.
Good morning, folks. Hey, Michael J. I said good morning when you came in, but I think everybody was probably doubling. But anyway, hope all is well up there.
Hey, like Alpha 1 Alpha, weather, yeah, that'd be good.
Well real soon. Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh, yeah, that's nice and smooth.
Well, my amp last night was shutting down.
I'm disappointed that I never turned that noise reduction level down before.
Lower my drive power, so I was down to about 600 watts only, and I had to drop.
Is that an actual? I don't know.
The thicker that wire got up there, the more